Hello, Indy.
Hey, Mark.
Amazing to get you here.
Thank you.
You've got an amazingly busy schedule.
Oh,
You have.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah. Thanks for making time, though, seriously.
Yeah.
We've known each other a long time.
Yeah.
And it's really great to see how well you're doing and looking great.
Thank
And I
you.
wanted to find out and see if you'd share a bit of your story with us, because it's been quite a journey to get here.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you Brighton born?
Always, yeah. Brighton, born and bred.
Yeah.
I lived in Lewes for a little bit, well, a little village just
Yeah.
outside Lewes called Iford when I was growing up. But like Brighton's, that's my home.
Iford's quite near Lewes. It's quite posh, rural.
Yeah, it's quite well to do.
Is it?
There was like 100 people in my primary school.
Whoa.
It was tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Jeez.
all really big, nice houses, lots of horses.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
What made your family move to Brighton then?
a lot of it was family. Like my mum is from Brighton originally. She spent a lot of time when she was born. She was in like Rye, but then she came to Brighton, and Brighton, it just suits her. My mum just likes Brighton. She loves the lanes. She loves the people, and how I see Brighton is very different to my mum. My mum sees it as quite a nice, well-to-do place.
It's probably the circles she moves in are different.
Yeah, she sees different things to the sort of things we would see and notice. But Brighton's home. And my mum, I sort of came to be in Brighton while my mum was still in the little village I grew up in.
Yeah.
I sort of migrated my way to Brighton through the people I was mixing with, really.
I suppose everyone was coming to Brighton because that was the
it was
nearest
the
big
place
town.
to be. It was Brighton or Lewes, and there's not a lot to do in Lewes,
No.
especially when you're like 14 years old.
Yeah.
So it was Brighton for me, and I didn't care how I got there. I was going to Brighton.
At what kind of age? About 14, 15?
Probably younger. I started going to Brighton when I was probably like 12.
Yeah.
12 or 13, mixing with people. Like when I was young, I don't know, I could watch films like Trainspotting, Spun, 13, and it appealed to me, like that life.
Yeah.
Other people see films like that and they think, oh, who would want to be like that?
Yeah.
You know, how could you do that to yourself? But something in that appealed to me, and I'd look at people like Spud and I'd think, I want to be like him.
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain, I want to be like him, and Courtney Love.
Yeah.
Even the relationships appealed to me, like the chaos.
They were all proper chaos, weren't
Yeah,
they?
but it
Courtney
appealed
and
to
Kurt,
me.
Yeah. What do you think it was the danger of it? It was like so the opposite of the nice kind of quiet Sussex town. Was it the appeal of the danger, the Sid and Nancy about it?
I think partly, and I think some of it was just like, it was like a family.
Yeah.
And my dad left when I was very young.
Oh, no.
And that, like, it had a massive impact on me. I was a massive daddy's girl growing up.
Yeah.
Like, I always wanted just to be accepted. Even now, like, I have a big thing about being accepted and rejection. And seeing, like, I don't know, they always look like they were so, like, tight.
Yeah.
I'd look at the films and they'd always be rolling together through thick and thin.
Yeah, Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, I mean, life's not like that. I know that now, but
It has its moments, I guess. Like
it
that,
always just appealed to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Would you call yourself a thrill seeker then? You're growing up, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Is that your mentality?
Yeah, I always wanted to be like different, but have everyone love me for being different. I don't know what that's about.
No,
but
that's cool.
not. I wouldn't say thrill. It was attention. It was very much an attention thing for me.
Yeah.
I like to walk down the street and everyone be looking at me, even if it was because for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I loved that attention.
Yeah, I love that. Well, that's a rebellious streak. That's like a punk, isn't
You
it?
could call it that.
Well,
yeah.
no, I mean, I can identify with that.
Yeah.
Who wants to be Mr. Normal, Mrs. Normal, walking down the road, looking like everyone else? You're that person that's going along going, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like,
And
she's just crazy. She don't give a stuff.
I loved it. I loved it because, especially as I grew up, the circles that I was in, people got to know me, and like I could walk through Brighton and people would know me. Granted, it wasn't for good reasons all the time.
Did that bother you? Like,
It didn't bother me when
Yeah.
I was younger.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I felt like that made me fit in
Mm.
with the people I was mixing with.
Yeah, gotcha.
You know, like being a young female, especially in Brighton, like when I was 15, I was mixing with a lot of homeless people. They taught me to beg, and I was known as being like a really good beggar.
Wow.
They were obviously
Yeah.
like, I look back and probably exploiting me a little bit because, you know, no 15-year-old should be begging at the train station.
If you don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah. You
it
like
was
that
easy for
lifestyle.
me to make money,
Yeah.
and I was well known for that, and I liked that.
And then, but did you find as you made money, they became close friends? 'Cause
Yeah,
you got
of
money?
course. And I wasn't
Yeah,
seeing much
yeah.
of the money, and they were sitting behind me sick,
Yeah.
and I didn't know what being sick was really at that time. And it was, oh, Indy, can you make the money to get me well? I'll just sit behind you.
Really?
Yeah, but
So taking advantage of you. But
Yeah.
you were being noble and saying, don't worry.
I
I'll
thought
hustle
that
you.
was really
Yeah.
like what friendship was.
That is
you
what,
know?
I mean, a friend would do that for you.
Yeah,
Someone
a
who
friend would do
wasn't.
that for you, but I
Yeah.
don't think a friend would sit you down and do what they did to me. But it made me feel accepted.
And wanted. And
yeah,
needed.
Yeah, all of those.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? I'd never thought about all of the... You see someone sitting on the street begging, but I
Yeah.
never thought that there could be so many different things going on
Yeah.
at play.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, the person eager to help their friends, maybe to fit in, as well as, you know, sometimes supporting himself. And I never, I realise I've been really one-dimensional and opinionated. No,
I
have.
think everyone's guilty of
Yeah.
that.
But when
Everyone.
you listen to someone's story and you think, do you know what? You know, I didn't fit in at school, and
Yeah.
I would be the class clown
Yeah.
and get into trouble. Other people go, he actually did it,
Yeah.
and I thought they'd like me, and then
Yeah.
they'd still go and have lunch on their own, and you're like, I did
All
this.
that for
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah. It took me a long time to realise.
Yeah.
Wow, what an interesting story.
Yeah, thank you.
And so, how did that? So once you started coming to Brighton more, Indy, and then you probably started seeing less and less of Mum.
Yeah.
How did that, develop? Where did you live? And
I just lived on the streets.
so you really took it serious, like
Yeah.
you weren't like
it's a full-time job, I
no.
thought. Like,
you weren't
yeah.
just hanging out during the day.
I
like,
wanted
and then
wanted-
going home and having a comfy bed and
I actually
Yeah.
found myself like the lifestyle. Like there was something about it that
Yeah.
I couldn't put it down. The police would return me to my mum's, and I'd
Yeah.
walk in the front door and I'd go out the back door.
wow.
And I'd have to walk across fields and bunk trains to get to Brighton, but it was like a magnet to
And
me.
it wasn't because you didn't like your mum more.
No, I love my mum. I love my mum to bits. She's
yeah.
my best friend.
Yeah. No, I mean back then, a kid.
Even then,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
That must have been hard for her. She must have felt rejected.
really
And
hard.
thought, what? I love this kid, and she just doesn't want to be here.
And I never understood
Yeah,
it. I always thought like she's trying, she's trying to imprison me,
Yeah.
But
it's-
she just wanted to protect me. And only now I'm a mum
Yeah.
of a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Can I see what she really must have been going through?
Oh God, yeah, because this is the age your daughter is.
Yeah,
when you
I
started rebelling.
Yeah.
So you must be thinking, God. Yeah.
And I remember my mum
Yeah.
saying, when you grow up and have kids of your own,
Yeah.
you'll understand. You'll
Yeah.
be sorry.
Yeah.
And I am.
Yeah. Wow. Indy, that's really interesting. But yeah. So then kind of how did your lifestyle kind of progress from there? And obviously there's a element of addiction that creeps in later, but
So I was coming in, going to one homeless hostel in particular,
Yeah.
and just drinking. It was just alcohol to start with. There'd be like a specific alleyway outside a place called the YMCA.
Yeah.
And
London Road?
yeah, no, by the Steen.
Oh yeah.
I think it's shut now. And we'd all just like congregate down this alleyway, and I'd stay in car parks.
Was it dangerous for a female? I mean, did you have to?
Because I was so young, I did always feel protected. Like, I want to come out. I feel like I should come out with a really sad story of something that happened to
Yeah.
make me turn to drugs, but it's not. Nothing like that ever happened to me. And I always felt quite protected.
Yeah.
It was always older men. And every time the police would pick me up and take me home, because my mum had reported me missing, even the police would say to me, like, you don't want to turn out like that. They're not people you want to be around. And I just think, just leave me alone. I
Yeah.
know what I'm doing. they're protecting me. They're letting me be me.
Yeah, they're letting you be your true self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was around things that, I probably shouldn't have been around, committing crime. I mean, at one point, I was going missing so much, and someone asked me to carry a needle for them, and it fell out my school bag, right? And my mum found it. And at this point, I was getting into a lot of crime, and I remember being in Lewis Crown Court for a knife-point street robbery at 15 years old, and my mum writing to the judge and saying, like, please lock her up.
What?
And I felt like my mum had betrayed me. I was never gonna forgive her, but it was for my own safety. And
were you getting out of your depth, you think, and maybe didn't realise it?
Massively. Like a 15-year-old, and I'm up in Lewis Crown Court for a charge like that. If that was my daughter, I like to say I wouldn't do the same thing, but I think I might if I was worried about her life. Yeah. And my mum just wanted to get me a break so I could.
She could reason with you maybe as well.
And I could find other things to do and see that then, that's not what I should be doing. But of being around the people I was around, I was, I was around pipes. I knew what a pipe was. I knew how to put a pipe together.
Even young?
Yeah.
Wow.
I knew how to roll a joint. I knew things, I learned things being around this group of people, and like it wasn't long before, obviously, I tried it myself.
Yeah. Gosh. Wow. That's so much to pack in your young life already.
Sorry.
No.
I feel like I'm overloading.
No. I mean, at that age, you'd already packed in a lifetime's worth of experience by 15, 16, compared to your kind of people you probably went to school with, right? And you discovered this other way of life, criminal living, and
I went one way and all my school friends went another. They were at college, things that I've got to catch up on now. Yeah.
Yeah, but everyone's path, there's no right path. My right path is different to someone else's right path, isn't it?
Yeah.
And for you, I suppose it's been a journey.
Yeah. And I'm glad I've met some of the people I've met.
Yeah. Have you managed to stay friends with some of them from that period, or have they?
It's a lot of them. What? For school friends?
No, I meant the people you were hanging around with.
A lot of them aren't about anymore. A lot of them are dead. Or,
really?
Yeah. Or you just don't, they're in prison for a long time.
So it's not a permanent life for that lifestyle?
I wouldn't say so.
Jeez.
No. But some of them I went through a lot with. Like I was slept on the streets with one person in particular for like 4 or 5 years, and I would never walk past them in the street, but my motto is friendly but not friends.
Okay, yeah.
So I try and stay friendly with them. I say hello, but I can't be friends with them.
Is that because you don't want to be sucked in?
Because I just don't feel strong enough.
Yeah, I love that. So you got a good sense of your strengths and your weaknesses now when it comes to that stuff.
No.
But yeah.
Very much, yeah.
Oh, wow. and so obviously you knew how to skin up, and you knew this stuff quite young. And what was it like the first time you got high? Did it feel like escapism, or was it like some, is it something you were like, no, I shouldn't be doing this?
From the first time I tried it, I loved it.
Yeah.
Weed, it makes me paranoid. Yeah. I can't smoke it, so I didn't really have the like party stage. I hear a lot of people talk about. Of like hallucinogenics and uppers, like like I didn't really go through that stage. I pretty much went straight to like alcohol, crack, and heroin.
Whoa!
And I know, and I wish I could say different.
No, it's your story.
But it was mostly through partners, and I like I said, I would love to blame them and say they made, no one made me do it. I did it off my own back.
I think you're a pretty strong-headed girl. I've known you a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think someone could say, I want you to do this. You'd be like, fuck off.
Yeah, I do it my way.
Yeah.
But
and I love that about you.
Thank you.
I do. It was just,
And then it was, a lot of it I was introduced to by a partner. And he was a lot older than me. He was 20 years older than me at the time. He's actually my little girl's dad. And he was in recovery himself when we met.
Were you in recovery when you both when you met?
I hadn't had a habit yet, but I tried things.
Yeah.
And he actually relapsed while he was with me. when I was pregnant, and he hid it from me, and I caught him one day, and I was like, right, well, if it's worth risking me and this baby for, then I want to fucking try it and see what's so good about it. And he was like, yeah, okay. And before I knew it, I was waking. I done it for about 2-3 weeks, got away with it, thought I'm going to be the only person that doesn't have a habit.
Yeah, I could stop whenever
Yeah,
I
I'm the only one. And before I knew it, I was waking up sick, and I was like, I remember it so clearly. I lay on the sofa and I was cold, I was shivering, I felt like I'd been hit by a bus, and I was heavily pregnant at the time. And he was like, you're clucking, you're withdrawing. And I said, no, there's no way. There's no way, because I'm the one person that is not going to get a habit. And he pulled out some heroin. I tried it, and I felt better within 5 minutes, if that.
Jeez.
And that was the start of like a long
lot of
long I think
journey.
I was like 17 just at the time.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow. God, Indy, that's like, jeez. Yeah, I can't imagine, what that must be like. I'm trying not to say anything mean about your daughter's partner, but I can't imagine, if my girlfriend was pregnant, to encourage her to do that. But
it's an addiction though. Like I'm not angry with him to this day. I'm not angry with him. I don't blame him.
Well, he was sick.
Yeah, and there's been times in my addiction where I've given people things for the first time because I've been gaining something from it. And like, it's shameful to say that, but
it's honest and open.
My mind works so differently when I'm in that world. I could never do it now. And when I think I was 2 years older than my daughter is now, when that was given to me, or when I took it. And that, it scares me, but I don't blame him. I'm not angry with him. He wasn't in a good place, and I think I was just quite vulnerable at the time.
Sounds like it, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, that was your journey, isn't it? It's
and I've got a beautiful daughter.
That's the thing.
So,
And the story, which we'll share later, which you told me earlier, is like, it made my heart jump. It was such a lovely story. But, yeah, so, I mean, so from there, obviously you had your daughter, and then did you guys stay together? And what happened with that? Was he using and still? Or?
Yeah, we went and got on a methadone script, stopped using, and one night my mum was meant to be having my daughter. At the last minute, she said, I can't have her, I'm not very well. And me and her dad had planned like to have a night off.
Yeah.
And
get smashed.
we thought, we'll go and get a load of Valium, a load of smack, a load of crack. We'll do a bit of everything that night. And because my mum had said, I can't have her, we thought, well, we'll put her to bed and we'll just have a nice night anyway.
Yeah. A civilised night smoking crack.
As you do. And we were off our face, both fell asleep on the sofa. I woke up at some point and the room was full of smoke. Like, I couldn't see my hand in front of my face.
Shit.
Turns out he got up and put a chip pan on, sat down and gouged out.
Shit.
And I had to get him and my daughter out. And at the hospital, they said, we need to take your daughter to check off for smoke inhalation. Like, I said, do whatever you need to do.
Make sure she's okay. Yeah.
And then they came back down and said, we're taking her into care for neglect because we'd done what we'd done with her there. At the time, I was fuming. They had no right. Looking back now, it was, that was a really dangerous situation.
That could have been the end of all of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with you two wigged out.
Of course.
Yeah.
If I didn't wake up, I don't know what would have happened. And that, when my daughter went into care, like, my whole life instantly fell apart.
Because you had a tight bond. How old was she?
She was maybe 2.
Oh, so they're so sweet at that age.
And my whole life fell apart. We did get clean, but it took, I say clean, we were still on methadone, but we stopped using, and we managed to get her back. But it was a long process. It took nearly a year and a half to get her back. We had social workers, literally, as she came back from the foster carers, sleeping on our floor, writing notes.
Keeping an eye on you.
Yeah.
Were you getting tested as well?
Yeah. And when she woke up in the night, they'd be at our bedroom door, writing how much we fed her, when, what time she woke up. in the evening they'd sit, India hugged so-and-so.
Really? Is that
Yeah, it
really
was
with a
really
fine-tooth comb
intrusive.
watching you?
And I
What
think
do you think the purpose of that is from their point of view?
I think they just wanted to make sure it was a healthy relationship because of the age gap.
Yeah.
That I wasn't being made to do things I didn't want to do, that there was no drug dealing going on, and that it was a safe
So it's all
environment.
about the safety for the baby, basically. Yeah.
But I ended up cheating on him because after all that, I just didn't feel like I even knew him. Like, we would sit on the sofa and I was scared to even hug him because in case workers said like, oh, it's inappropriate.
What, so they were sat there the whole time?
Yeah, they literally stayed every
So
night.
you were sitting there watching Coronation Street
Yeah,
together,
and they were sat in the corner writing
Indy
notes.
now has made him a cup of tea.
Yeah, it was really like that. Every night
hell.
she stayed while she was being like brought back home. Was a night they had to stay as well, and like
That's enough to split you up.
It did.
Doesn't make you feel passionate.
And someone else showed me a bit of attention, and I leapt at it. They made me feel special, and I filled my head with all this like fairy tale. You know, we can go and be a family. He's no good because he, you know, and So I left. It was his flat. And I was homeless straight on the street back to when I was 15 years old again.
And the baby?
She stayed with him.
Oh, wow.
Because it was his flat and I cheated. So he was like, you have to leave. You have to be the one to go.
Without the mum? I mean,
she's staying with me.
That's I've never heard of that before.
I relapsed very quickly.
Well, yeah,
and he'd always apparently wanted a child. So he just saw it as, well, you know, you relapsed, you cheated. Maybe there was an element of him trying to punish me, you know, out on the street. But
that's awful.
It is what it is, you know. I played my part.
Yeah, you can look back and see your own part and stuff. So what happened next then?
I was homeless.
Yeah.
Like, really homeless this time.
With a habit?
Yeah.
Homeless with a habit.
Couldn't go back to my mum's. Met a partner. Had a really horrible relationship.
Abusive kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, I can't just say it was him. Like, I was fucking horrible to him as well.
Well, you're probably angry and upset deep down.
Yeah.
And raging, basically, inside.
I just felt like I had nothing to live for at that point. God. Like, my whole world had just been ripped from me. And I felt very betrayed by her dad that, in a way, he'd introduced me to this. Yeah. And then it had been used against me, and I'm the one that's now homeless and on the street. Fuck. There was no going back at that point. Like, I asked to get back with him. He was just like, no, I'm not having it.
And he was happy to bring up a young baby on his own?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
is why
very unusual.
Yeah, and that is why I find it very hard to talk badly of him because...
No, I wouldn't want you to.
Until...
Did he take good care of her?
Yeah,
okay.
He did.
And he let you see her?
No. Well, he probably would have if I'd have...
Been in a fit state, maybe. Sorry, I don't put words in your
mouth. No, that's what I was looking for. Yeah. Like, if I had have turned up straight... I mean, my mum let me see her on the... Like, when my mum had my daughter.
Because she got her later on, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when my daughter went to my mum's for weekends, my mum would say, yeah, you can come and see her, but don't tell him. But there was times I didn't turn up, or I'd be ill and I couldn't turn up, or I'd go
must have been heartbroken.
Yeah, I was, but I was also using so much that I didn't feel. I didn't want to feel because I knew if I felt it was going to break me. It was going to
hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, and I probably wouldn't be here now. In a way, if it wasn't for the drugs,
that's what kept
me going.
Yeah, saved you from not being
and
able
they
to
then
feel.
became my purpose rather than my daughter, as sad as that is.
Yeah. It's when you hear people's stories, it all makes sense the way they explain it. And you're like, wow, you know, it's mind blowing. Yeah, it's hard. People struggle to cope with a lot of, you know, especially things that involve your baby or your family or lover or wife or husband. It's tough.
Yeah.
And but you kept going. You kept, you know, doing your thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't give up.
No.
But
and then how did you, or when did the point come when you thought, you know what, I think maybe I need some recovery? Or because were you in the recovery rooms for a while?
Yeah, I was in and out of NA meetings, rehab, prison. I have had times where I haven't been using, but I've always been on methadone. Since I got on that script after my daughter got taken,
Yeah.
I've always stayed on that exact same script.
Yeah. Is that even when you're using street drugs as well?
Yeah.
I don't know how it works with methadone. Is it supposed to take away your cravings, or does it?
It just makes you well.
It doesn't make you high.
No, because you start on such a low amount. And the idea is you stop using, so your usage comes down, and your methadone amount will go up, and you'll meet somewhere in the middle where
you can just function.
You're not ill.
Oh right, is that all it does?
And you don't have to use when I have my methadone in the morning now. You wouldn't really know. You'd know when I didn't have it.
Yeah. Oh right, so you're on methadone now. I didn't know. So you see, there you go. Yeah.
So
that's why you haven't nicked my phone or anything, isn't it? No, it's
shut up.
No, that's wow. So I had no idea, Indy, that that's how it worked, because I hear people talk about methadone in the shows and stuff, and I thought it was like a way to stop people street using, but still give them that high. But it's not. It's to stop you feeling sick, which is what happens when you.
If you're not used to it, like anything, you can do it and get high.
Yeah, because I've heard people saying I had a double habit, and I used to think, what does that mean? You're doing double the amount?
It's when basically you don't stop using. So you have your methadone, but you don't come down on your usage, so you end up needing both of them.
That's just getting yourself twisted tighter, isn't it?
And then you're stuck, because what do you do when you want to stop using?
Oh, shit, I didn't think
it's
about
not
that.
going to work properly.
Shit.
So you're fucked.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Flipping hell.
So, yeah, I've always been on a script, and I had periods of abstinence somewhat.
Was that just white knuckling it? Or?
Yeah, because I think a lot of the time I felt I had to. I've got a younger brother and sister. They're both not anti-drugs, but they haven't gone the same route I have. My daughter's got 2 kids. She's a brilliant mum.
Your daughter?
My
I was going to say.
my sister.
Oh,
Sorry.
Right. I was saying she's only 15.
My sister's a brilliant mum. She's got 2 kids. Her own home, and she's like 10 years younger than me. My brother's gone to university, everything.
How does that make you feel? Do you feel like, well, how does it make
I don't know, really.
I mean, because you're proud, obviously. You're not
I'm
jealous.
so proud of them.
But then you must look at yourself and think, shit, I've wasted these years. What the hell?
And I see the mum that my daughter, I said it again, I see the mum that my sister is, and I am so unbelievably proud of her. When I'm with people, and I'm like, oh, do you want to see my sister and her kids? And they don't want to see my sister and her kids.
But you're proud.
I'm so proud of her, because she could have gone a completely different route.
She could have followed your path.
Yeah. And thank God she didn't, because I can only imagine how things would have ended up if I had another sister out there on the street using.
Shit. Yeah, can you imagine?
But I just it just wasn't for me, recovery in the past. I really wanted it, but I felt like I didn't have a purpose. I felt like I'm getting clean, and what is the point? And I'd sit there, my emotions are coming back, but I didn't have my daughter there, and my relationship with my mum wasn't great, and I didn't have any friends. So
you almost think, what am I doing this for?
Yeah, what was the point? If this is sobriety, I don't want it, because I felt like my life was better when I was using. I had friends, I had purpose, you know?
And block the pain out.
Yeah.
Makes sense on paper, you'd say. So, because it takes a lot of commitment. The people I've had on the show who've got clean time and, are not using drugs, they've really put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah.
And I think someone said, they've got to put as much effort into staying clean and sober as they did into partying, and they said, and I put a lot of effort into partying, so he's got to put the same amount. And I was like, wow, that's quite a heavy commitment. So how's it going now then? Because I see a lot of great things happening ourselves. We're friends on Facebook, and I see you got your own place now.
Things are very different for me. I got to the point with my using where I was constantly in a car park. I was injecting in my groin, injecting in my neck. I didn't care about whether I was going to live or die, living in a doorway. Life is very different for me now. So I was sat begging one day, trying to make money to get well. And I hadn't seen my daughter for 10 years probably at this point. her dad had relapsed and she'd gone to live with my mum.
Okay.
But I wasn't allowed to see her because I was like in and out of rehab, you know, between living an okay-ish life and complete chaos.
Yeah.
And my mum would never know what I was going to be when I turned up. So I was sat begging to get well one day, and I was near tears, and school was finishing, all the kids were going past, and I was sat cross-legged outside Co-op, just saying, you know, spare any change, sir, spare any change,
Is that on
miss.
Lewis London Road?
Yeah.
You had your spot outside London Road.
Yeah.
I remember that you used to go inside the shop, didn't you?
That was my, where I was for ages. But yeah, for some reason, this day, I was sat up by Norfolk Square, you know, the Co-op opposite there.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was staying there, friends round the corner. And this girl ran over to me with about 4 or 5 other kids with her. She like jumped on me, hugged me. And I like hugged them back because I thought, oh, this person's like going through something. But I also thought, is this some kind of school prank?
Oh, right.
Like hug a homeless person.
Hug a homeless. That's so mean. Yeah.
And she pulled away and this person was crying. And I looked at her and she was like, Mum. And like it was like,
wow.
I think I said to you earlier, like it was like all my dreams coming true. But it was my worst nightmare as well because my daughter seeing me in that state. That's the one state I didn't want her to see me in.
Yeah.
I wanted
the begging or
all of it.
Yeah.
The sickness, the dirt. I was stinking.
Grimy. Yeah.
I wasn't well.
Not at your best, basically.
Yeah, there was fucking needles hanging out my handbag, an empty bottle of vodka behind me. No, I don't think a child of 14 should have to see their parent like that.
Especially when she's with her friends.
Yeah.
Like, that's my mum.
Yeah. And it was really like, I felt as big as a Polly Pocket at that time, you know. I didn't know what to say to her. I didn't know.
Because you hadn't actually seen each other for ages. I forgot that part of the story.
Yeah. I hadn't seen her for 10 years.
10 years?
Yeah. I'd spoke to her on the phone. Maybe, I think I saw her once at my mum's and I'd written her letters. But
so painful hearing this.
It was really, I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know where to look because of the shame. I just stared at the floor, and she kept coming back to see me. Like for about a week, she kept coming back every day after school.
Oh.
And she introduced me to her boyfriend.
Wow.
And to me, that was so touching because
she didn't care. But
she didn't care that I was. Yeah,
she's proud of you.
She'd sit on the floor with me, and I was her mum regardless. And at the same time, when she walked away, I would sit there in like floods of tears. I'd have to go and sit up at the alleyway just to get off the street because it was so it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do that day.
But do you think that's given that moment?
It's given me purpose.
Gave you the jump start.
Yeah.
To think, fucking, I've got this beautiful child here that needs me.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to get my shit together, man.
Completely. I mean, do you remember earlier I said that I felt like I didn't have a purpose. I was getting clean and it wasn't for anything.
Yeah.
But I knew this time I could get clean and I'd have something to live for.
Yeah.
If I couldn't do it for me, I could do it for her.
Yeah, and that might be that.
Yeah, and people say, oh, you have to do it for yourself. You can't do it for anyone else. But I disagree with that. I think you absolutely can do it initially for someone else.
Yeah.
And then the self-love comes.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's fantastic. And also, it's such a perfect time because your daughter is going through those between that age 15 and 20 where she really needs a mum. Well, it's hard enough without a parent, but she needs a mum, you know, to say, is this normal, is that normal, blah, blah. And a son, you know, for anyone.
Of course, everyone needs a mum.
You've woken up in time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like she's 25 now and has 3 kids and a husband you've
never
met.
And I've missed so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I've missed a lot of her growing up, but I mean, I've sat with her and apologised, like, you know, and I've told her, please don't think it's because I didn't love you, because I loved you so much, but I just didn't love myself.
Yeah.
I didn't love myself enough to do it. And she accepts that. She understands I wasn't there, but she says, Mum, you're here now. That's what matters.
And I think the love you're going to get from her is so pure and true and will never, it's more powerful than any partner's love.
Definitely.
You know, because a child's love for you is nothing can break that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's
She's never going to leave you
unconditional.
and go, I've had enough of you and moving on.
She's my ride or die. She's my day one.
Yeah.
You know?
Love that. Because I got that with my son as well.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's,
I'll jump in front of a bus to save him happily.
Yeah, I
Do you know
remember
what
my
I mean?
mum used to say, "Oh, I would die for you," and I'd think, "Oh, shut up."
Yeah,
You wouldn't.
dramatic.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
But when
Who would do that? But it's so pure, you know, the love. And I'm blessed that she accepts me, because she could have turned around and gone, "That's my mum." You know, that day she didn't have to stop.
But she needed you. She needs you.
And
That's why she reached out.
she's going through so many changes at the moment, you know. And I just think if I wasn't sat there that day, my life could be so different right now, and her life. And after this, I get to go home. I get to cook for her.
Yeah, you were all excited today.
Yeah.
Going, what time's it finished? Because I need to get home. It's like, oh, Indy, this is such good news.
Yeah, and I've got her kitten I've got to look after.
Oh, look at you,
she's
man.
got a little kitten
so
for her
happy
birthday.
For you.
Yeah,
Really
it's all coming together. And
how does it feel? Does it feel like you're saying you're building? You're like, this is me and you against the world, kid.
It's hard.
We're going for it.
It's hard.
Yeah.
I had like a bit of a honeymoon period where everything was really good.
Yeah.
And I guess she's starting to feel more comfortable with me now. So she's asking questions. Her anger's coming out. And it's really hard. Like sometimes as a parent, I sit in my front room, I put my head in my hands and I just want to cry. Because like parenting is hard.
You don't get a manual, do you? You don't
No.
get...
It's really hard. And there's not a lot of other mums in recovery out there. So it's quite hard to find someone my age that has a teenager that has been through similar things. So I feel quite alone a lot of the time with my parenting. But I mean, that's where I'm blessed that I have my sister and I have my mum and my brother.
And if I know you correctly, and I've known you a long time, you're very limited in who you let into your life. I think you correct me if I'm wrong, but because I like to judge people's character, and you've got a very close circle of friends that you trust, and other people on the periphery. But like you say, you don't have a phone book of 50 other mums you can call and chat about your personal stuff. It's it's deeply
and a
personal.
lot of the time, sorry, I don't mean to speak over you.
No, speak over me.
A lot of the time, other mums, I mean, like her friends' mums, I worry about them finding out.
What, being judgmental?
Yeah, because what if they turn around and say, I don't want my child, going to an ex-junkie's house, because that's what they view me as, some of them.
Well,
to me, it doesn't, it doesn't matter what they think of me, it's about my daughter. I don't,
you care about her and you don't want her to lose a friend.
So I worry about them judging me. I worry about turning up at places and people knowing. Because I know my daughter got shit at school for her having a mum, and a dad. Mum and a dad that are both drug addicts. But yeah, as I say, I'm blessed now. Like I get to the things I see other parents moaning about a lot, like, oh, their room's so untidy, bloody teenagers, and I'm like, no, shut up. You get to go home and tidy their room, and you get to cook them dinner. You don't have to. You get to. I'm sure at some point my attitude will change.
Well, you've just discovered motherhood, though, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's just landed in your lap.
And it's just been because, overnight, I suddenly had a teenager.
Yeah, I mean, out of the box kid.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Someone's done all the nappy changing and all that. And
it's, exactly that.
And they're like, here's your Amazon teenager. And you're like, what?
Here's your 15-year-old.
Why did I want a 15-year-old?
No manual for you.
Sorry, we lost the manual.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, shit.
But it's really nice now. Life is good. I should be doing more NA meetings. I love NA and CA. I think that all the A's, I think they're amazing. They've helped so many people. If they can help that many people, they can't be wrong. But
I've seen some miracles. Some of the people who've been on the show, they're like,
it's crazy.
You hear the stories, you think, wow, really? And you escaped that?
Yeah.
And living a normal life, normal life, everyone's life's normal to them, but, living a life that's productive in their own way. And so, Indy, what do you think, future-wise, what are your dreams and aspirations? That sounds like an interview. But no, it's got to have some plans and some goals.
My future, I hope, it's very different to how I used to think it would be. I used to want material things. And now, I just want health, the health of all the people I love, a stable home, because not having that for so long, that's a massive thing to me. Having a home that people can't take, that I can't be thrown out of, and having that for my daughter as well.
Nice. Her own home, because she's been moved around a lot, hasn't she?
Yeah, and I want her to grow up with the attitude, like, I can't tell mum about that because mum will go mad. I want her to be able to come to me and or for something to happen and her to think, I need to go and tell my mum.
Yeah, or to talk it out.
Yeah,
with you.
mum will know what to do, not
Yeah.
I can't tell her.
Yeah.
So for that sort of relationship with my daughter.
Wow.
And
yeah.
I actually joined up to the recovery college like 2 days ago.
What's that then?
It's a college.
Yeah.
It's based on New England Road, I think, or Street. New England Street.
Yeah.
And it's for people recovering with mental health or addiction.
Oh, wow.
And it's just like short courses. I'm doing the anxiety one, which is like 2 hours a week for 4 weeks.
Is this learning how to teach it or just learning how to deal with it?
Just learning how to deal with it.
Oh, right.
Because I really want to do anthropology at college.
Really?
Like, I really want to do that. So I thought, well, in the meantime, till September, get out your comfort zone and go and do some things you wouldn't normally do. Hence why I'm here.
I love that. Thanks, Indy. And so what's anthropology? Is that the study of humanities?
Yeah, and cultures and things like that.
Oh, I bet you'd be good at that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love history. I love things like that. So it's like right up my alley.
Yeah, I love that. So that's good. And then what about housing-wise? Do you reckon you're going to be there for a period and then...
So we're in emergency at the moment in a 1-bedroom, but social services have given us a band A and a priority. So it should be pretty quick process. And like I said, we're in emergency now, temporary and then permanent. And I can't wait to get a permanent place so I can start buying things and making it a home.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited for
Have
you.
my own room. I haven't had my own room since I was like 14 years old at my mum's. It's my first home since I was at my mum's. So,
God, that's amazing.
Yeah. Things have changed.
Wow. I can't remember what else I was going to ask you, really. Yeah. And where did your love for hip-hop come from? I know it's a bit of a side one, but... Your knowledge of hip hop is unbelievable. I see your Facebook post.
I love it. I love my hip hop, old school hip hop.
Yeah.
Ain't no school like the old school.
Old school, baby.
Yeah. It just growing up around people. I think a lot of influence from my friends. My dad was like massively into music.
Was he?
Growing up, I can remember like he was more into dance music, but like chicane, orbital, trance, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, him and my mum both massively into their music. It's got me through a lot of music. A lot.
And a lot of cool stuff.
Like, it can turn how I'm feeling like that.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think there's a lot of power in music. It's almost meditational sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you can get
it's
lost in
very powerful.
It's really powerful.
Yeah.
Can change your emotions. And...
I just relate, not that I'm like a bad girl. I'm not a baddie, but I can relate to a lot of hip hop music, like the loss and struggling, prison, drugs, things like that. I can just relate.
Yeah.
And a bit of Biggie Smalls, come on, who doesn't like a bit of Biggie?
God, I love that. Wow. Well, Indy, I think I've run out of my questions, but we covered a lot of really interesting things in our chat. Are you happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll bring it to the end. We normally end by me coming around giving you a hug. Is that all right?
Yeah, come
Chris
on.
takes a few shots. Thank you, Chrissy. Yeah. Indy, I'm so proud of you. You did so well, love.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome.